Hi guys, this video is meant to help you if you're having a hard time with the 5-7, 5-8 review. I'm going to go through one of each kind of problem so that you can at least see how to set them up. I'm only going to do the evens. You have to do the odds. So you can use these problems to kind of help you do the ones that you need to complete for homework. So I'm going to go ahead and do number 2. And we need to find this indicated measure. So we got to find this question mark. Now, in order to do these problems, what you're going to want to do is use your properties of parallelograms, because it says that these are parallelograms. And one thing that's going to help us here is that any pair of consecutive angles are supplementary. So consecutive angles are like, if you were going around in a circle, you'd hit them right next to each other, right? You hit this guy, you hit this guy. Those are consecutive angles. So like another example would be like G and D are consecutive angles. F and G are consecutive angles. It's the ones that are right next to each other. So these guys here are right next to each other, so we know that they have to be supplementary. So it would be like question mark plus 65 equals 180. 180 minus 65 equals, and 180 minus 65 is 115. So you should get 115 degrees for that. So you're going to use this method to solve for these guys. Now, we're going to go ahead and skip on over to number 6. Number 6 is very similar, right? Again, we have two consecutive angles. The consecutive angles are supplementary. So what we can do is add them up and set them equal to 180. So we're going to say 2 plus 11x plus 18x plus 4 equals 180. So you'll go ahead and combine like terms. You get 29x plus 6 equals 180 minus 6. 29x equals 180 minus 6 is 174. And then we divide both sides by 29, and we get x is 6. So that's how you would solve for these. Again, consecutive angles are supplementary. All right, so now let's go ahead. I guess none of these really ask for the opposite angle. That's interesting. All right, so again, we're going to go ahead, keep rocking. Now, these are very similar, again, to the other problems. However, instead of asking for x, they're asking for an angle, right? Up here, they're saying find the value of x. Here they're saying, well, what's the value of the angle? So again, we've got two consecutive angles. So we're going to add them up and set them equal to 180. 70x, whoa, what the heck did I just write? 70x plus 21x minus 2 equals 180, and we can, wow, I really can't write today. 70x plus 21x minus 2, thank you. So we would add these together. 70 plus 21 is going to give us 91x minus 2 equals 180, add 2, and we get 91x equals 182. 182 divided by 91 is going to give us 2. But this is not our final answer. This is asking for the value of angle T. So now you got to go back to angle T. Well, T is 70, so 70x. So you're just going to do 70 times 2, which is going to give us 140. So angle T is equal to 140 degrees. So make sure that for these you go and plug them back in. All right. And now I'm going to go ahead. Let me drag down these definitions we have here. All right, we're going to use these definitions here. So, let's see. Again, we could actually use a couple different ways to solve this. It's kind of interesting. One way I would recommend here is, again, using the supplementary idea here. So that would mean that all of these guys need to add up to equal 180. So you could just say 22x plus 3 plus 29 plus 82 equals 180. Because this whole thing, this whole angle here is this plus this, right? So you could just add them up and then add the two angles up, set them equal to 180. So then we end up with, let's see, 22x. And then 3 plus 29 plus 82 is going to give us 114. We get 66. 66 divided by 22 is 3. All right, so that is how you would find that. So these are a little bit more tricky, but you guys got this. All right. So now let's go ahead and try another one. Oops. So one thing that's going to be very important here, you can see we got a lot of diagonals going on. What we can do is use the idea that the diagonals bisect each other. So using the idea that the diagonals bisect each other, we can go ahead and write in our information. We know that DL, which is this guy right here, that is going to be equal to 7x plus 2. And then we also know that DF, which is this whole thing, is going to be equal to 16x. Now, we know from our rules here, since the diagonals bisect each other, this guy is congruent to this guy. So what we can do is go right in, well, 7x plus 2 right here. And then this part plus this part needs to equal the whole. So we can just add them up. So we do 7x plus 2 plus 7x plus 2 equals 16x. And we get 14x plus 2 equals 16x minus 14x. And you get 2 equals 2x, x equals 1. So then to answer the question, what is DL? Well, since DL is 7x plus 2, you plug in the 1, you would do 7 times 1 plus 2, and you get 9. All right, let's do another one. I feel like these are going to be a little bit tricky for you guys. So let's try, we can go ahead and do 22. So they tell us that VZ is x plus 15. VZ is x plus 15. And then they tell us that Vx, which is the whole thing, we'll use green still, is x plus 30. So again, we know that this guy is congruent to that guy, so we could say that Zx is going to be equal to x plus 15. So we say x plus 15 plus x plus 15 equals x plus 30, because the two parts are going to equal the whole. So then we combine like terms. And I get x equals 0. X equals 0. So I'm going to go ahead. They ask me for VZ. If I look, VZ is x plus 15. If x is 0, it's 0 plus 15. I have that VZ is equal to 15.